Rose, I'm David Jacoby. We are Jalen and Jacoby. What is it that we do?
Bro? We get the people what they want.
Jalen, yesterday I saw one of the best, most dramatic football games I have ever seen. One of the best come-from-behind performances. One of the best individual performances I've ever seen on a football field in the NFL. And of course, I'm talking about the Detroit Lions comeback win against the Chicago Bears. Jalen, the Lions are on a win streak after beating Justin Fields and the Bears on the road. What do you say to the Lions faithful today?
See, these are the type of mornings, days, afternoons that it pays to be a die-hard fan, Jacoby. Let me tell you something. Let me tell y'all something. Follow me. This is the first time since the early 90s that the Lions have been trailing by 0 and 150 plus. Oof. When we were trailing by at least 14 in the fourth quarter. And you know what happens in situations like this? Williams gets a touchdown. Our guy, DeAndre Swift, gets a touchdown. St. Brown out there catching everything, 119 yards. But you know what you need under center? You know what you need under center when it's time for a big comeback in a big game against a division foe?
Yes, I do.
You need Jared Montana. That's what you need. Somebody's going to calm the waters, make sure everybody's cool in the huddle, and find a way to get it done. You see Jared picking them apart in the fourth quarter, Jacoby, getting us back in the game. This is Dan Campbell football. This is what I'm talking about when he said biting off kneecaps. We ain't taking L's when we get down. This is like the early 90s. Take that, Chicago Bears. But Justin Fields a beast, though.
Let's talk about Justin Fields for a second, because what he has done in the last 4 or 5 games has been absolutely incredible. The way he runs the ball is amazing.
Toughness, breaking tackles, eluding defenders. And you and I said this when he got picked. Justin Fields, shout to my guy, Jimmy McMahon with the headband. And all of the people who have been under center. And Jay Cutler, the reality star. Justin Fields is going to be the best quarterback in the history of the Bears.
Already is. Like, is he already the best weapon they've had under center in the history of the franchise? I'm going to say yes. Yes.
Well, look at it like this. I don't believe they've ever had a quarterback throw for 4,000 in the season. I don't think they've ever had a quarterback throw for 30 touchdowns in a season. And nobody's seen a quarterback run for back-to-back games of 60-plus yard scampers. And you and I did the list of best rushing quarterbacks in the game. We need to modify that. We need to modify that. This week on the show, that should be something that we should be looking into, especially as we go deeper into the football box score yesterday and we see a couple of quarterbacks trying to do sneaks and coming up short for whatever reason.
Well, that's a natural transition into my Buffalo Bills. By this time on Monday, we all know what happened. We all saw the back and forth and the back and forth. But now that we have some perspective on this, what I really want to highlight is the excellence of Justin Jefferson. Like, it is absolutely out of control, the catches that he comes down with, especially this one on 4th and 18.
Ooh.
I thought that was a pick when I watched it live. But just look at and it just seems like Kirk Cousins, when in doubt, throws it anywhere near Justin Jefferson, and good things happen. Jalen, what did you think about Jefferson's performance, and where does this put him amongst the elite receivers in the league?
You nasty boy, you nasty. Like Biggie once said on Life After Death. Let me just tell you something. The Minnesota Vikings, once they added Hawkinson, along with the San Francisco 49ers, are explosive as it get offensively in the NFC. And the one thing that distinguishes both of those teams, and you talked about Jefferson, who's outstanding, but there are other great teams that have, great receivers, but not those that have more 100-yard rushing games in the first 3 seasons than anybody in the history of the NFL, including Randy Moss,
receiving
who he
games,
passed
obviously.
in this category. But let me just say, what makes them different also, run game. 49ers make them different, run game. Dalvin Cook, toughness, ability to get to pay dirt. The Vikings are a terrific story. And your Bills came up short. And the reason why? Josh Allen turnovers.
Josh Allen.
That's
You gotta take the good with the bad. There was some bad yesterday.
That's really what it was. But here's what I'll say about Josh Allen. I'm not mad at this because ain't too much you can do. The center trying to snap the ball. It's, a tough situation. You know the defense is lining up in order to try to create a play. But, man, you got to make this exchange. You got to make this exchange. But on the other side for the Vikings, they weren't able to punch it in either when they had that opportunity. And then also for Josh Allen to throw the pick, the big pick. This is a great game. But Josh leads the league currently in interceptions. And let me say somebody I'm happy for. Lockdown corner, defensive back Patrick Peterson. Because when we start talking about all the moves that happened this offseason, you and I brought up a couple of weeks ago. He's Buffaloed up, ice down, and he's representing to the fullest as they get a chance to ride on the plane, victorious, vainglorious, beating your Buffalo Bills.
A couple things. Number one, I'm so happy that Kirk Cousins was not wearing the chains again. You know what I mean? It was cute when it happened last week, but I'm glad they didn't go back to that well. I'm glad that it was Peterson with the chains on. He had 2 picks, and this was the full Josh Allen experience. Like, in that drive in overtime, he had some great runs. And even with his elbow issues, he's putting his head down and getting first downs, and he's running over people in the secondary. But those picks were really head-scratching. Like, we've all seen picks off deflections and things like that, but, like, who's he even throwing that to? And look at the second one, like, he has the ball in field goal range, down 3 in overtime. And what is he seeing that I'm not seeing with that throw? 2 picks from Peterson, big win for the Vikings. I'm just going to say something that I might regret later in the season. I still don't believe in the Vikings. I don't care. I don't care if they're 8-1. I still do not believe in this Vikings team. I still don't. I still don't believe in it. I don't see this team in the Super Bowl. I don't see this team in the NFC Championship. I do not see it happening. Jalen Rose.
So here's what's going to happen. Let me do an exercise for you. When you start the season, of course you want to look at Tom Brady and give him the benefit of the doubt as a 7-time champion. And then you look deeper to the box score. Many people don't have him starting on fantasy. And then you want to go to the Rams. They're trying to get their run game together. Cooper Kupp got injured yesterday. Matthew Stafford's still trying to figure it out. And so Dallas is a team that comes up. They had a bad loss yesterday. And so the pecking order seems to be Philadelphia, the 49ers, and Vikings, Jacoby. Ain't no way around it.
We'll see in the playoffs. We'll see exactly where the Vikings end up in the playoffs. You mentioned the Dallas Cowboys. They had a big game against the Packers. The Packers needed a win. They were hosting the Cowboys in Lambeau, and the Cowboys looked good. They had the lead, but Aaron Rodgers brought the Packers back. Do you think this could be a pivotal moment and the Packers could get back to being the team that we expected them to be in the preseason? Or is this just a miraculous comeback that will be one win amongst many losses at the end of the season?
The way I felt so happy for Patrick Peterson getting his 2 picks and shining, I feel just as disappointed for Mike McCarthy. Going against his former team that ousted him even though he won Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl. The only time that it's ever happened, Mike McCarthy was the coach. And he's been questioned in Dallas, and rightfully so. High penalties, whatever they've done to lose games. And Aaron Jones, it was great to see how he was out there shining, looking terrific. Watson was balling, 3 TDs. Aaron Rodgers bringing his team back in the fourth quarter, much-needed victory. But you know how we say good win? It's a good win for the Packers, but this is a bad loss for the Cowboys. It's a bad loss for the Cowboys. They're still trying to figure out their identity in a lot of ways. And Dak Prescott, this is one of those games you hope that he can uplift your offense and find a way to do what Aaron Rodgers actually ended up making happen.
Well, a couple things. Number one, when they went for it on fourth down, the Cowboys, I agreed with that call because if you miss the field goal, you give the ball back to Aaron Rodgers from the spot of the kick, and you're going to have to stop Aaron Rodgers at some point. I agreed with that call in the moment. It didn't work out for Mike McCarthy. But one thing I also want to say is because I love sports media and I love controversy. I can't wait till people start asking for Cooper Rush to start games. I can't wait for that to happen. You know what? That's probably going to happen by like Wednesday of this week.
5, 4, 3,
it is
2,
now
1.
time for Soft Move or Boss Move.